Alright, today everybody we're starting something new. We're in section 1-4, Extrema, and average rates of change. Okay? What we're going to be talking about is different vocabulary words: constant, decreasing, increasing, maximum, minimums, and this concept of a secant line. Alright? Whenever you guys interpret a graph, I want you to interpret it from left to right. So right now, what I want you to do, get your pencil, put it right over here as far left as you can go, and start tracing the graph. So I'm starting to trace it. What's happening to my pencil as I'm tracing this portion of the graph? It's decreasing. So this section right here is considered to be decreasing. It's decreasing when your x values are getting bigger, but your y values are getting smaller. So whenever your x's are getting bigger and your y values are getting smaller, that's considered to be decreasing. But as your x values are getting bigger and your y values are getting bigger, this section of the graph is considered to be increasing. Oh, wait, hold on. I messed up. That's this section of the graph right here, increasing. This point right here, if the graph is going down and then it's changing direction and going up, this point right here is considered to be a minimum in the graph. And more specifically, you would write, this is actually what's called a relative minimum. Technically, the absolute minimum, everybody, where is this graph eventually heading? This graph is going towards negative infinity. So the relative minimum is here. If I asked you for an absolute minimum. So right here, it's going up from here to here. As the x values are increasing, if the y values stay the same as the x values increase, that portion of the graph is constant. The x values are increasing, but the y values stay the same. From here to here, what's happening in the graph? As the x values are getting bigger, what's happening to the y's? They are increasing. So we're going to write right here, increasing. If the y values are increasing and then they reach a peak and then start to drop, what do we call this little tiny peak right here? Maximum. Yeah. That is a maximum in the graph. September 6th. Destiny 2 has been released. The maximum. Above it, but this is a relative maximum. This graph over here is going up towards positive infinity. So therefore, there really is no absolute max. It just goes up. So it's going up forever. So there is a relative maximum. Just like this goes down forever, this goes up forever. Okay? Now, right here, I'm going to tell you what this is pointing to. This right here is pointing to this line that cuts through the graph. That line right there is considered to be a secant line. That is a secant line. It goes through the graph. Right here.
Yeah, I know. We wanted to have that in my journal.
I'm just telling you what it is.
Okay.
Yes, you can have it in your journal. Have a line that cuts through a graph. That's called a secant line. And last but not least, this portion of the graph, the y values are going down as the x values are getting bigger. So once again, that portion of the graph is decreasing. So you're going to need to be able to interpret what's happening in different parts of a graph. Is it increasing, decreasing, or remaining constant? Where are the relative minimums or maximums that you're going to be working on? Other things you need to know, real quick. I want you guys to look right here. I'm going to zoom in. Right here, this point is called a point of inflection. Now, this is kind of a confusing concept sometimes if you don't understand the definition. I want you to understand that as we're going down, like let's say this was a slide. I'm going down. This is decreasing, right? Is this still decreasing?
Yes.
It doesn't change, right? It doesn't change from going, it just goes, it changes the curve of the graph. See how the shape changes? But it doesn't change the direction. Do you see how this curve does change, but it also changes direction? It goes from what? Increasing to decreasing. This goes from decreasing to increasing. So whenever there's a change of direction and it's going from increasing to decreasing, you either have a maximum or a minimum. A point of inflection is where it doesn't change from increasing to decreasing. Okay? Now what I need you guys to do next, all right? I need you guys to copy down this equation right here. I want you guys to understand this right here means the slope of a secant line. That's what it means. It means a slope of a secant line.